And the second session of the day underway at the Track and Field World Championships. First round of the men's 400-meter hurdles. Top three in each heat advancing, plus the next three fastest. And here is Derrick Adkins of the United States, the reigning world and Olympic champion. Won the 95 World and the 96 Olympic Championship in Atlanta. And Adkins in lane 6 as the race is underway. Remember, top three automatically qualify. Atkins out in lane 6 and running pretty well to start. Already making up the stagger on Zadoynov in the next outside lane.
And that's typical of the way Derrick Adkins likes to run a 400-meter hurdles race. He likes to go out fast, and being on the outside lanes, he has just the one athlete to draw off on. Won't be able to see anyone else until the home straight.
Michael, you like the 400 without the hurdles. How does Derrick Adkins look to you?
Derrick's looking very confident. He likes to go out fast, as Dwight said. Being in lane 7 helps him. He doesn't have to look at his competitors. The guy in lane 1 right now is running very fast. That's not taking very much account of that. He's just running his own race, seeing as how it's just the quarterfinal, really.
Mashchenko of Russia does win with Derrick Adkins getting second. Top three automatically move on. And so Derrick Adkins, who comes into this World Championships having lost at the U.S. trials. In fact, before he won his Olympic gold medal, he lost at the trials as well. So maybe not looking to win his heat, as Mashchenko of Russia easily won it. Adkins second and qualifying, moving on to the next round.
Mashchenko going crazy in lane 1 because it's such tight turns. He wants to just get this race over with, but very strong from front to back. He was 4th at the 95 Worlds and just ran a heat at the 96 Olympic. But Derrick Adkins having some trouble around at hurdle number 7 and 8. Finally gets back on track here as he gets to the home stretch, realizes he has 3 to qualify to get through to the next round. Doesn't worry about Mashchenko in lane 1, simply tries to relax down the home straight, stays with his good hurdling technique, tries to stay relaxed, and just move on to tomorrow's semi.
Here's what you mentioned as they came around the turn. He had made up the stagger, but as you said, faltered a little bit at hurdles 7 and 8.
Derrick is such a great technician. By being an engineer from Georgia Tech, much the way that Edwin Moses was also an engineer, looks at the race from a very technical standpoint. You have to wonder a little bit about his fitness, though, as he was really struggling down this last home stretch. He made no attempt whatsoever to pick it up, just finishing around 49 flat, but it'll be a different race and a different day for Derrick Adkins tomorrow.
Let's go down to John Dockery, who has Derrick Adkins. John?
Thank you, Tom. Derrick, they were just talking about you as a technician in the race. Did you get what you wanted out of the race?
Definitely. Plan was to make it to the semifinal, so I made that much, so it's good enough.
You know, last year at the Olympic trials, you lost to Brian Bronson, your chief competition. Then you went on to win the gold. This year, you lost to him in the Nationals. Are you confident you can take him here?
Yeah, you always have to have confidence. So I think that my fitness is good enough to win a gold medal here as well.
Well, thank you very much. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Tom?
All right, John. So Derrick Adkins has moved on in the 400-meter hurdles. And next, we'll see the man we've been mentioning that beat Adkins at the U.S. Nationals the last 2 years. That'll be Brian Bronson up next. Later, right now, we're watching the 400-meter hurdles. First round, again, the top three in each heat. The next three fastest advance to the semifinals. And in this heat is American Brian Bronson, the U.S. champion, a native of Jasper, Texas. Yes, Brian Bronson is the U.S. champion. At the U.S. Nationals earlier this year, he defeated Derrick Adkins, the reigning Olympic and world champion. So Bronson is the U.S. champion, and here's the way he accomplished that earlier this year in Indianapolis. Same result as it had been in '96 at the U.S. trials, with Bronson beating Derrick Adkins, but then Adkins having the last laugh by winning the Olympic title. And at the Olympics last year, Bronson had a disappointing performance. In fact, was eliminated in the semifinals. So once again, he wins the trials, hoping for a better result in the big meet. This time, the World Championships. He is the '97 world leader. Tough lane here. He's in the outside lane, lane 7. And a false start. They'll call them back to the starting blocks.
Bronson's still beating himself up for that performance last year at the Olympics when he was eliminated in the trials, and said that he wouldn't do that again this year and vowed that he wouldn't race as much. He blames his bad performance in the semifinals last year to running way too much before the Olympic Games.
I guess that's a maturing process, isn't it, to know how much you can race without losing fitness, without being spent by the time the big races come.
It's a difficult situation for new guys coming out of college and making money, and there's a decision to be made, and there's a trade-off. You run too many races, and you burn out. You run so many races, you make a lot more money, but you've got to have a long-term view, and I think that he's learned a lesson. A lot of us have learned valuable lessons from that.
And there is a look at Australia's Rohan Robinson, 5th place in Atlanta last year in the 400-meter hurdles.
He certainly has to be considered a threat. Was in the heat in the 95 World, so he has international experience. Also has the Oceania record as well as the Australian record for 400-meter hurdles.
As the Olympic rings tattooed on his right arm, and of course hoping that those will be prophetic for his performance in Sydney in 2000. And a fair start this time. Remember, on the outside lane, the lane 8 is empty, so Brian Bronson of the U.S. in lane 7 is on the outside, a tough spot, but he's taking it out early.
Bronson, a sprinter and hurdler, very good 200-meter speed, and he's using it now between the hurdles. I'm afraid he might be going out a little too hard. Hopefully he'll kind of settle down on this curve down there.
That's an often problem that you get when you're out in the outside lane. No one whatsoever to draw off of. You simply have to focus on your stride pattern and your pace. You don't really get to see anybody for the last 110 meters or so, and I don't think he's going to see anybody even at that point. He's so far ahead.
So Brian Bronson has a big lead as they do hit the straightaway. Remember, the top 3 automatically qualify, and Bronson already is looking around, clears the last hurdle, makes another peek around, and waltzes across the finish line to win his heat and move on in the 400-meter hurdle competition.
Actually, that was a very efficient way to run the early rounds. He took it out very hard, didn't have to use very much energy coming home, except for that little spurt at the end when he looked around and saw that they were gaining on him a bit.
Brian Bronson, as Michael was saying, running so hard the first 200 meters, and you've got that kind of speed, you can see that he was really trying to stretch out his stride pattern to stay with the 13 strides, as he is now still looking back over his shoulder. That's a very risky technique in the middle of a race when you're starting to get fatigued, but he's looking around to make certain that he is going to stay in the top 3 without having to pour on any more energy as he goes over the 10th hurdle easily. A good, efficient race for Brian Bronson, but if he just would save a little energy from working around so much, he might be better off.
And right now, Brian is with John Dockery. Doc?
Brian, if I can get you up here. You don't look that winded. You know, you look very focused. You look like you mean business. Part of your motivation, that disappointment in Atlanta last year?
Yeah, that helped motivate me for this year. I was very disappointed about last year, so I trained real hard now. I'm running the way I think I should have been running last year.
What's the biggest lesson you learned from that Atlanta experience?
To focus on what I'm doing, not to worry about what other people are doing. Just focus on what I know that I can do.
Lane 7 today, how tough was that running out there by yourself?
I like running outside because I can actually run my own race. It doesn't bother me at all.
All right, well, good luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, John, here are the key qualifiers as the men's 400-meter hurdle first round. The semifinal set for tomorrow. Sam Matete, Bronson, Woody, Maury, Adkins. Octavius Terry of the U.S. did not qualify for tomorrow's semifinal.